And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sportscene. This week on the show, we feature Randy Moss. Get you ready for the Kentucky Derby, the 151st Run for the Roses. The first Saturday in May, Randy, 45 Kentucky Derbies, has the inside for you. Also getting our spring football wrap, starting with Oklahoma State Cowboys and Eric Bailey. Then we'll have James Hale talk about the Oklahoma Sooners and their spring practices and look at 2025. Tulsa World football, Luke Hamilton, their play-by-play voice, talks about their opening home victory in a record crowd. And we'll have Rudy Garcia on the set here. Just announced his retirement after 30 seasons as Union High School's championship basketball coach. But first, here are Tulsa World hot topics. Leading wire to wire, the Oklahoma women's gymnastics team claimed the program's 7th national championship Saturday night. In Fort Worth, the Sooners had a team total of 198.0125. They claimed the 2025 national title over UCLA. Saturday, by the way, marked the Sooners' 11th trip in the last 12 years to the finals, Oklahoma's 3rd title in the last 4 years, and 6th in the last 10. OU is now tied with UCLA, the 3rd most women's gymnastics championships. National title, by the way, a culmination of a great season. OU posted a 33-2 dual record, secured its first SEC regular season championship. They won an NCAA regional for the 15th straight year, and then 6 Sooners combined for All-American honors. I talked to Coach K.J. Kindler. She'll be on the show with us next week. The Oklahoma City Thunder, coming off the best regular season in franchise history with 68 wins, started the NBA playoffs with another record. They defeated the Memphis 131-80, 51-point margin, their largest for a first-round playoff game in NBA history. Thunder's biggest lead, by the way, was 56 points in that game. Game 2, Tuesday night, OKC, and the series again goes to Memphis for games Thursday and Saturday. Tulsa Oilers are in the ACHL playoffs for a 2nd straight season. Got to a good start, opening the best-of-7 semifinals last Friday in Kansas City with a 4-2 win, having 4 unanswered goals in the 3rd period. Then on Saturday, Kansas City won in overtime, 3-2. Now, taking a look at the schedule for the playoffs. Next 3 games here in Tulsa, the BOK Center. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, if necessary. They'll go back to Kansas City for games 6 and 7. Tulsa Indoor Professional Football League team, the 3 straight road games and a 1-2 record, opened their first homestand with a record crowd. The big victory over San Antonio. We'll have more on that with Luke Hamilton coming up later in the show. After starting the Texas League season with a 1-8 record, the Tulsa Drillers baseball team returned home to win 4 straight versus Wichita, including 2 in walk-off fashion. The win streak ended Saturday with Wichita taking a doubleheader. Drillers now 5-10, go on the road. A 6-game series in Northwest Arkansas, Tuesday through Sunday. Return to One Oak Field to close out the regular first month of the season against Arkansas, April 29th through May the 4th. Hopefully get some more good home cooking. Our FC Tulsa Pro soccer team began a 3-match road series this past weekend, starting in Las Vegas, a dominant 4-1 victory by Taylor Calahera, scored 2 goals. FC Tulsa is now off to its best start at 4-2 with 12 points. Next are road matches at Knoxville, Tennessee this weekend. The trip to the West Coast to play at Orange County to close out April. Next home match, FC Tulsa has until Saturday, May the 10th. They'll be hosting El Paso Locomotive at One Oak Field. Next, Kentucky Derby 151, the first Saturday in May coming up. Randy Moss of NBC Sports here next to give you the inside.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice. He shoots, he scores. And they've clinched their spot in the playoffs. It's Game 5 of the playoff battle against the Kansas City Mavericks. This Friday night, 7:05 at the BOK Center. Let's make sure to rally behind our team and show Kansas City what Tulsa is made of. It's turned over and going the other way. Get your playoff tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Smash mouth, hard-hitting, pulse-pounding excitement. Oh, I can feel that one. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, Food and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
The 151st Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Roses, will run 1 week from this Saturday, May the 3rd. Randy Moss, NBC's top sports analyst, one of my old colleagues at ESPN, is their top analyst. Had a chance to talk to Randy before he heads to Churchill Downs and ask him, why is this race so tough to win?
I think the primary reason, Chris, why the favorites don't tend to do as well in the Kentucky Derby as in other races is not because of the 20-horse field. That seems to be the most common answer that people give. And I don't subscribe to that at all. As a matter of fact, if you go back and you look through the chart books of, you can pick any amount of Kentucky Derbies you want, say the last 30, 40 Kentucky Derbies, and you ask yourself in hindsight, what we know now, did the best horse win that Kentucky Derby that day? And typically the answer is 75, 80% yes. So I don't think it's the 20-horse field. I think it's the inexperience that horses have coming into the Kentucky Derby that makes it difficult to gauge exactly how good they are, because they've only had 3 races now, 4 races, 5 races, and they haven't had a chance to fully develop. So we're still learning about these horses when they run. And a lot of times the favorites at the Kentucky Derby in hindsight shouldn't have been the favorites.
You know, it's interesting too, because this race is just so many unknowns of obviously all the 3-year-olds. None have gone a mile and a quarter. None have carried the weight of 126 pounds. None have faced 160,000 screaming people. I've heard so many jockeys tell me, Randy, that you turn for home at Churchill Downs, that tunnel of sound can really spook some horses. So just so many unknowns going into the race.
Yeah, and it's not just those, and those are significant unknowns, but it's what the horses encounter, the experience of running in a race and with a field like that, right? It's what they encounter during the running of a race that they might not be prepared for, that they have never seen before. A horse that's accustomed to being on the early lead suddenly is 5 or 6 lengths off the pace. A horse that's accustomed to being 2 lengths off the pace is now 12 lengths off the pace. Southern California right now has short fields. They've got sort of a crisis in field size at Santa Anita. And most of these horses that you'll see coming to the Kentucky Derby from the Santa Anita Derby and the San Felipe, like Journalism, have run against 4-horse fields, 5-horse fields, 6-horse fields, very short fields. And the Kentucky Derby will be a brand new experience for horses like that. The kickback, all sorts of different things are new for these horses.
Well, you mentioned Journalism, the Santa Anita Derby winner, and seems to be, at this point, the clear-cut favorite for this year's Kentucky Derby.
I think he is. I think he's as clear-cut of a favorite as we've had probably since American Pharoah. Now, again, he's, I guess, the only real black mark you can make against him if you line up the pros and the cons would be the fact, like I just said, he has faced nothing but very short fields in California. But at least in the Santa Anita Derby, he encountered some adversity. Didn't get the greatest ride probably from Umberto Rispoli, who is known primarily as a grass rider rather than a dirt rider. It was a stop and go kind of trip, but the horse still kicked into high gear around the far turn and was able to overcome all that and win anyway. So he has experienced some of that. He's been inside, he's been outside. He took a lot of kickback in the Santa Anita Derby. He's had stop and go trip. He's got that working for him. But right now on paper, Chris, the races that he has run so far compared to the races the other horses have run, I think he's 2-3 lengths better.
Other favorites, Arkansas Derby winner, Sandman getting some support, especially in this area.
Yep. Sandman, the publisher, the maiden that finished second behind Sandman, ran a pretty good race as well. Now I'm going to tick off all these horses, and there's one thing they have in common. You've got Sovereignty, who was second in the Florida Derby, trained by Bill Mott, who is also, I think, probably going to run a big race at the Kentucky Derby. You've got Burnham Square, who won the Bluegrass and came from well off the pace. All of the horses that I mentioned, Sandman included, are confirmed one-run, deep closing kind of horses. And you might say, well, in a 20-horse field in the Kentucky Derby, that's not good. That's a disadvantage, except when you have a race with a significant amount of early pace. And that's what this Kentucky Derby is set up to be. East Avenue has got only one way to run, and he was sent hard to make the pace in the Bluegrass Stakes. And you know that's going to be the case in the Kentucky Derby. Citizen Bull, the 2-year-old champion from last year from the Bob Baffert stable, appears after the Santa Anita Derby to be the kind of horse that needs the lead. Rodriguez, another Baffert horse that won the Wood Memorial, went wire to wire. He runs better on the front end. Owen Almighty, who is now back in the Kentucky Derby, is a horse that really knows basically one way to run, and that's on the lead. Admire Daytona, the horse from Dubai who won the UAE Derby, went wire to wire in the UAE Derby. There is a lot of pace in this race, and it's going to really benefit horses that come from off the pace. Journalism happens to be one of those as well.
You know, another local horse, local ties, the Springboard Mile winner, getting a lot of support in this area, especially is Cold Battle. Went to Oklahoma, won a couple races there, finished about third, I think, in the Arkansas Derby. But has a trainer that I know is one of your favorite stories in this race.
Oh, Lonnie Briley, 72 years old. Cold Battle is the storyline darling of the Kentucky Derby, right? I mean, when you look at Briley, he had never had a graded stakes horse in his life until Cold Battle comes along. The owner, Robbie Norman, owns a chain of grocery stores in Alabama. He's never had a horse this good. It just seems to be serendipity that they suddenly have a horse that's on the Kentucky Derby trail. He's going to be a long shot. He's going to be 25-1 probably, because he looked like in the Arkansas Derby, maybe 1.1 miles, certainly 1.25 miles, might be stretching it a little bit as to how far he wants to run. But he's definitely number one on the list of storylines going into the Derby.
And on the other extreme, you have a 6-time Kentucky Derby winning trainer in Bob Baffert, the Hall of Famer, finally after a 2-year suspension, I guess it was, at Churchill Downs, back in the Derby. What's going to be the Bob Baffert effect on the Derby this year?
It's just great to have him back. I mean, he was primed in, let's say, December, January, with so many good horses from that ownership group called the Avengers that spend big money at the sales, and also Amr Zadan. It hit the horses. He did win the Wood Memorial with Rodriguez, but almost all of Baffert's horses in this race are going to be 15-1 or higher, I would think. So he's not going to be in with any of the favorites in the Derby this year, but just to have him back after a 2-year and then what amounted to a 3-year suspension from Churchill Downs, it's going to be fun and apropos to have him back. I think maybe he was treated a bit harshly, but now, as far as Bob's concerned, bygones are bygones.
All right, Randy. So, how do you bet this race, and who are the Randy Moss favorites to win the 2025 Run for the Roses?
Journalism ought to win it, Chris, if he runs the same races that he's been running. He's a mid-pack kind of horse, so he'll get the first jump on the deep closers that I mentioned, like Sovereignty and Sandman, horses like that. Tistastic, that's another one. So I think Journalism is the horse that you got to key on top. I'll give you a long shot to put underneath him, one that I think is going to run a big race. Grande, who was second behind Rodriguez in the Wood Memorial, had a wide trip. The pace wasn't especially fast. So you can make a case that, given all that, Grande might have been the best horse in the Wood Memorial. He's trained by Todd Pletcher. And I think Mike Rapoli and Pletcher are set up for a pretty good run from Grande's lightly raced. So Journalism Grande exacta wouldn't be too bad.
And Randy Moss knows what he's talking about. This will be his 45th Kentucky Derby. Next, we go to spring football, Oklahoma State Cowboy football next with Eric Bailey.
The We Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The We Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. We Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
It's that time again, Tulsa. Your Tulsa Oilers indoor football team is back in action. Saturday night, May 3rd, 7:05 at the BOK Center. The Oilers turn up the heat on the Green Bay Blizzard. The first 1,000 fans 12 and under get a free youth jersey. It's time to experience the lightning-fast, hard-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Well, it's always football season in Oklahoma. Here to wrap up Oklahoma State spring practices, good friend Eric Bailey. Eric now is the new beat writer for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Congratulations, Eric.
Thank you,
Let's
Chris.
still on now with Mike Gundy. Gosh, going to his 21st season, huh, for coach?
I remember when he was playing football in high school, and now look at him, 21 years. He's legal now at Oklahoma State.
Wow, boy, he has some work to do. I've never seen a team with much turnover, players and coaches, as Oklahoma State for 2025.
32 new portal players. He had to get used to those guys. New offensive coordinator. Well, new, I guess, to some people. New defensive coordinator. A lot of turnover. A lot of optimism in Stillwater right now.
The end of spring practice last year, it was a veteran Oklahoma State football team. Most people pick him to win the Big 12. Of course, he competed for the championship just the year before. And then just the wheels fell off. Winless in the conference. It was hard to believe.
3-9 last year. And after they beat Arkansas and Stillwater, everyone thought everything was going to look forward, and then they go winless in the Big 12. There's a lot of reason, though, for optimism. We just mentioned the newcomers, Doug Meacham coming back as offensive coordinator, Todd Grantham, as defensive coordinator. There's a lot of reason for hope in Stillwater.
OSU has just one starter back on offense, 3 on defense. It all starts and ends with a quarterback. This past spring game, this past weekend, they had 4 competing, and now they're down to 3. And one jumped into the portal.
Smith. I don't know how to say his first name. He's got a long first name. Like I said, I'm learning names too, learning personnel. So I think what we're going to see now is the offseason is going to be so important. Just kind of adapting to what Doug Meacham wants to do is going to be very important. We really didn't see a quarterback really emerge during the spring game, but I think those coaches have an idea of what they want to do. With Doug Meacham, they're going to throw the ball around. We've seen that with his past stops, but they do want to put an emphasis on the run game too. They need to be balanced. So we'll see. It starts with the quarterback. It always has at Oklahoma State. We've seen quality quarterbacks. It's going to be key to get the right person in this offense.
Stay on the offensive side of the ball and talk about an area that really gave them problems last year, the offensive line. And they have, in fact, they've rebuilt the offensive line. They lost their top 6 offensive linemen from last year.
Yeah, they have a lot of depth there. He said they go 3 deep right now, but a lot of them are transfer portal guys. Yeah. And it's going to be so important for that group to mesh. And we know how important offensive line play is in any league. We always talked about Oklahoma, how they had to adapt to SEC and how it was going to start up front. It's going to start up front with Oklahoma State in the Big 12. They're going to have to get guys to come in. You can't have enough offensive linemen. Yeah. Now, it's good that they went to the portal and they attacked it and they got players coming in, but now it's important for them to mesh and build chemistry. And I think that's going to be where it starts for this offense. They have skill players. They got to have people that can block for them.
Kind of a 180 for Coach Gundy. He was totally against the portal, didn't want transfer players. Now he knows It's a lifeblood. You got to do it to compete.
Exactly. And you know what? That's what's interesting about Oklahoma State is they're spending money. Mike Gundy said after Saturday's spring game that they're spending money. And I think that's so important now because you have to spend money to get these players to come in. It's a different ball game than when back in the 1980s, 1990s, even 5 years ago, we didn't see this. But I think that Oklahoma is really doing this. And we saw the concert a couple of weeks ago, the Boys from Oklahoma concert where they had 4 sellout crowds. They're going to benefit from that money coming in, and we're already seeing it. They've gotten 3 key defensive linemen over the portal window that's open right now, and I think that's big right now. They're getting players coming in, and I think that's huge.
Right, I've covered Oklahoma State football since the 70s, and Eric, you're not too far behind me on that. One thing I've always known in Oklahoma State for great running backs, great receivers.
And I think that's big. And we've seen guys just as recent as Ollie Gordon coming in. Right, I think that's big too. And I think we're going to see Ollie Gordon in the NFL drafts this week. I'm kind of curious where Ollie Gordon's going to land. Now it's key for that running back RBU. That's what Oklahoma State considers themselves is. They're going to have to maintain and continue that. Fields, he had a big game this weekend. He had a big run, 72-yard run. It's just a taste of what they can do. You know, the one player that interested me this weekend at the running back position was Caleb Hicks. Caleb Hicks is an Oklahoma transfer. He moved to Stillwater from Norman during this portal window in the winter. And he didn't have a lot of yards in the spring game, but he showed some flash. A lot of give and go, a lot of cuts. I think he's someone that could really be a difference maker, a game breaker for Oklahoma State. And again, with Doug Meacham's offense, they're going to have to run the football. I think they have some weapons there that can make some plays.
How about receivers with Cowboys?
Mike Gundy said he has speed, and that's what they need. And Oklahoma State has been known for making plays and having quality receivers. I think speed is something that this Oklahoma State fan base can really embrace because they have guys that can catch the ball. Gavin Freeman, another player from Oklahoma that went to Oklahoma State. He was a big-time player for the Sooners. Only played 4 games last year, redshirted. Wanted to get stronger, get faster. He could have helped OSU last year, but instead he took a redshirt year. I think he's someone to really watch. And then they have a young man, Jackson, who came and delighted in special teams during the spring game. Fast, transitioned from quarterback to receiver. He's someone that really showed that he has speed too. I think that's something, if they can give quarterbacks time to get the ball to receivers this season, they can make some plays.
Now on the defensive side of the ball, last season Oklahoma State gave up a school worst record of 35.8 points per game.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why you brought Todd Grantham in. I mean, he's going to be someone that restructures this defense. I think he goes to a 5 defensive back system. He's going to put a lot of skill players out there that can get to the ball. It's going to be one of those things where it's not going to be an overnight transition. Nothing happens overnight. But he's going to change that mindset, change that culture. And he's a guy with NFL experience. He's a guy that use that Nick Saban style of defense. He's really trying to change things over there. Linebackers are huge. They went to the portal big with linebackers, and I think that's huge too. We've seen some new linebackers in there that can make some plays. And again, they went to the portal on the defensive line with edge rushers. They got a young man from Vanderbilt who started all 13 games. They got him through the portal during this current window. I think that some of those moves that they're making, they're looking for contributors right away, and I think that's going to be big for Oklahoma State.
Mentioned Mike Gundy will be starting his 21st season, all-time winningest coach at Oklahoma State. Great career record, of course. His bowl string got snapped last year, but it was a tough offseason for Coach. He got a reduction in his salary, reduction in his pay and buyout, and of course now he wants a whole new staff.
Yeah, and you know what? I got to the beat in the middle of spring, so I'm still learning personnel. I'm still learning Mike Gundy. Yeah. I really haven't worked with Mike, but from everyone I've talked to, it really seems like he's really optimistic. He feels good about this roster. No coach is going to look at his roster and say, you know what, we're the same as last year. But with Coach Gundy, it really seems like, from whatever everyone's telling me, is that he feels good about the players that he brought in. He knew they were good players, but from what people are telling me, he feels even better after seeing them compete. So I think that there's reason for optimism, not only for fans, not only for his staff, but for Coach Gundy himself. I think he really feels good about where he's at.
Let's take a quick look at the Oklahoma State schedule of 2025. They open up Thursday night against Tennessee Martin, then a tough trip to Oregon. Open date. Tulsa comes to Stillwater September 20th. Then they start the Big 12 play.
Oregon's going to be a test. It'll be a litmus test. Yeah. You'll see where you're at. It's going to be tough going there, of course. You're looking at a college football playoff program with an outstanding coach, but it'll prepare you for the Big 12. And I don't think they're going to go winless in the Big 12. I think they have a chance to go out there and compete right away, get back to where they're used to.
And good news is that the Cowboy fans are sticking with them. ticket sales doing well.
They're selling out. They're selling a lot of tickets. Bill Hasten, my coworker, said that he's getting good signs. And you know what? Cowboy fans are faithful. They're not going to let one year take away from what they got.
You sit in the rain for an hour spring game. You know you're
exactly
loyal here. Well, that's a story on Oklahoma State for the spring and for 2025 the fall. Come right back with a look at the Sooners with their insider James Hale right after we take this time out on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice. He shoots, he scores, and they clinch their spot in the playoffs. It's Game 5 of the playoff battle against the Kansas City Mavericks. This Friday night, 7:05 at the BOK Center. Let's make sure to rally behind our team and show Kansas City what Tulsa is made of. It's turned over and going the other way. Get your playoff tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Smash mouth, hard-hitting, pulse-pounding excitement. Oh, I can feel that one. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
But now we turn our attention to spring football in Oklahoma. OU finished their practices last week. Our insider James Hale has been covering the Sooners since the 1970s. And a lot of new things in Oklahoma, including a new quarterback. They paid a couple $1 million, the report is, to get John Mateer to transfer along with his quarterback coach and his offensive coordinator to OU. He asked John Mateer, can he be the difference?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes when players come in, right, they don't live up to the billing. John's done everything he can do and more of what a good quarterback is supposed to do. When every other player on the team brags on the quarterback, even the kicker brags on the quarterback, you know, it's a pretty good sign that the quarterback is doing everything he can do. John is your consummate quarterback, is what I'm finding out. He's always in the office. He's always up there. If a player needs anything, Mateer comes to the rescue. If a player needs a ride, guess who picks him up? John Mateer. If a guy needs a car, guess who loans him his car? If a guy needs a buck, guess who gives him a buck? If a guy needs to get a pizza, John takes him to get a pizza. I don't know how John can be everywhere, but apparently he is. He's made an effort to get to know every single player on the team, which is really a great thing that you see every quarterback do. And as far as a football player goes, apparently he's Baker-esque. You hear nothing but great things about how he's throwing the ball. He can throw off kilter. He can throw off angle. He doesn't have to have a prototypical setup to throw the football the way he needs to throw the football. And when you add all that up, it looks like John Mateer is as good as advertised, if not better. I mean, all of a sudden when he came in, he was one of the top 10 quarterbacks. Now everybody thinks after spring he's one of the top 3 quarterbacks, or no worse than the number 2 quarterback in the SEC, and he hasn't played a down yet. That's how good of a spring that he's had. Now it's spring ball, right? So we're not into the season, but so far so good with John Mateer.
All right, down to protect him. Well, his offensive line was the worst in the nation last year, 95th in rushing per yards, allowing 50 sacks last year, and the optimism on the O-line.
Well, I'm fired up about the offensive line. They've been able to recruit the transfer portal guys they were able to bring in, and the two high school guys they were able to bring in has really boosted this offensive line. You know, in the spring, Logan Howland and Heath Ozita didn't practice, and they were the starters at the end of the year. The last 5 games, OU's offensive line was pretty good because they were able to run 5 guys out there, and those 5 guys played. Now, this spring, those guys both had injuries, so they didn't go. But Jacob Sexton was back at left tackle. Eddie Pierre-Louis settled in at left guard. Then they had Troy Everett, who was the starting center. Fabetsi Nawawu was the starting right guard. And then you had Jake Taylor, who was injured, that started the year at right tackle. He was back. And Derek Simmons, who was a transfer guy that did come in. Now, when you recruit 5-star and 4-star offensive linemen, you don't know how soon they can help. But Michael Fasusi and Ryan Foje both look like they're going to be able to help as freshmen if you need them to. But Danny Akamineman plays now at right guard. He looked pretty good. And now that they've been able to get, the transfer John McCullough to come in at center from Stanford, this offensive line looks like it's going to be pretty good because they think Logan Howland's going to be an NFL player. They think Keith Ozeta is going to be an NFL player. Well, they're going to have to come in and battle now to be starters. Jacob Sexton has already started, 22 games at OU and played in 30. So he's an experienced guy. Jake Taylor has always been incredibly talented. And so all those names I've mentioned, Chris, there's got to be 5 good guys in there, right, that they can go with at the beginning of the year. And that's what Bill tries to do. He tries to find the 5 best guys he's got, and then he tries to mold an offensive line out of it. And it looks like he's going to have some depth. So I think the offensive line problem is going to be solved, and they're going to be a pretty good football team in the offensive line in 25.
Well, the key to wide receivers, keep them healthy. I mean, we had 5 wide receivers last year in injuries, and also they're still looking for tight end.
Yeah, the wide receiver group, and again, when Giovanni Gibson got hurt, you're thinking, boy, this curse is continuing, right? But Isaiah Satagna came in and looks good. Deion Burks went through the spring and was healthy. A lot of those guys that played last year returned. And then you're wondering about Jaden Gibson, who had some kind of, problem again, or he got injured again in training camp. And so, but supposedly he's going to be ready to go at the first of the year too. And so they've got 12 receivers, and Thomas from Chakota and Manny, the 2 freshmen look pretty good. I just think that, if Gibson can go, Satagna and Burks inside, they're going to find some receivers. And I think the fact that the offensive line is going to be better and Mateer is going to be better at quarterback is really going to help them. Now, tight end, they have 6 tight ends, and they're trying to find another one in the transfer portal, which, blows me away. Why do you need one more tight end, right? Even if you play 3. But Higgins, the transfer of Jaron Kanik over there, that looks like that's going to be a positive deal. And it looks like at tight end, they're going to have some guys that can play. And so those 2 positions that were terrible last year looks like they're going to be better in 2025.
And we just added a pretty outstanding running back coming from Cal in the portal.
Yeah, Ott coming in from Cal. Now, see, this is a situation because the running back room's good, right? And so this is a situation where Jim Nagy, who told us he would do everything he could to improve the depth of to improve the roster. Well, this is an example. Here's Ott, who was a difference maker at Cal 2 years ago, was banged up last year, but had a good sophomore year. That was considered one of the best running backs in the country. He goes in the portal, and Jim Nagy knows him. And so Nagy reaches out to him and says, hey, would you be interested in Oklahoma? And he said, yeah. And so even though they had 5 guys in the running back room and some experience there and number 1 running back in Taylor Tatum and things like that, this guy's had more production than all of those guys. And so Nagy says, I'm going to improve the football team we're going to go bring him in. And that gives you an indication to maybe, and the David Stone situation too, gives you an indication what Jim Nagy is going to be about, because he said they weren't going to have any Nico Amanamaliva situations, and he almost had it with Stone, but he worked it out. And so Jim Nagy looks like he knows what he's doing, and he's going to be a positive asset for OU.
The Sooners kick off their season September 3rd at Illinois State, but it really starts the next weekend when Michigan comes to town. We'll come right back with Luke Hamilton, the Tulsa Oilers indoor football team, talking about an opening victory and a home record crowd right after this.
Winning racing action is back this spring at Remington Park. April racing features the annual extravaganza that is Extreme Race Day on Sunday, April 13th, featuring horse racing combined with zebra, ostrich, and camel competitions. The rich Remington Park Futurity Night of Racing is on Saturday, April 19th. The Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. The first race at 6 p.m. nightly, with Sunday racing at 4 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and nonstop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
The Tulsa Oilers are back on the ice. He shoots, he scores, and they clinch their spot in the playoffs. It's Game 5 of the playoff battle against the Kansas City Mavericks. This Friday night, 7:05 at the BOK Center. Let's make sure to rally behind our team and show Kansas City what Tulsa is made of. It's turned over and going the other way. Get your playoff tickets now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Smash mouth, hard-hitting, pulse-pounding excitement. Oh, I can feel that one. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey are back.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family-owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Tulsa Oilers Indoor Professional Football League team opened their home schedule this past weekend with a nice victory over San Antonio, 45-32. With us now is the voice of the Oilers, Luke Hamilton. Luke, we just need to schedule San Antonio for all the season.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Well, we get them one more time this year. In fact, other than Quad City, they're the team we played the most, and we got those two teams this year 3 times, so 2-0.
Before we talk about the game, let's talk about the fans. What a turnout for the opener. Tell us about that.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a record breaker for the football team. So 14,729 was that number. And it was something that when you're broadcasting a game, it sounds like it too, right? So a tremendous crowd. It was great. The weather didn't keep anybody from coming on out, which was so relieving for a home opener. And we were talking to a few guys. I mean, not everybody's been a part of this team and has seen a home game with Tulsa. And even some of the guys that have been here the last 2 years were really shocked and surprised with the turnout, I think. And it made what is the standard of the IFL for crowds.
All right, give us some of the highlights of that 45-32 win over San Antonio.
Yeah, I think the defense played great. It's something you got to do right out of the gate in the indoor football league. If you're chasing the game in that sport, it's not good for sure. So Juju Augustine continues to be a standout receiver for us. TJ Edwards been fantastic. Finally, we've got a quarterback that can really run the ball with some confidence and some authority, and I think that's really made a difference. Of course, you had him on the show not long ago, and it was an opportunity to kind of get to know him, and we're getting to know him tangibly on the field for sure right now, and he's been great.
Who's some of the key players that the fans enjoy this season?
Yeah, so of course TJ Edwards at quarterback, got to keep an eye on him. Calvin Bundage was somebody we were really high on coming into the season. Unfortunately, he got injured. Won't be playing here this year, but guys that have stepped up and really replaced him are Marquez Bembry, former SEC product out of the University of Kentucky. He's a rookie as far as it goes in the pro level and as far as it goes in the indoor football league. Really had to kind of learn how to play the game, but he's just been fantastic. Trey Harvey's looked as good as always, just as well. So
Marvin Jones, our head coach, of course, in his 3rd season, made some coaching staff changes, some additions. How's that working out?
Yeah, Andre Coles, I think, is at the top of that list for sure. He was the former Frisco Fighters head coach, of course, and when that team folded, he got an opportunity to come here and be the OC and be that assistant coach right alongside Marvin. And so I think it's been really nice for Coach Jones to know that he's got somebody that's his assistant that knows how to run a program, knows how to run a franchise as well, and can kind of be his right-hand man for sure. The offense has really played well. So.
And they got a lot of confidence in Marvin as the guy who's been kind of running the defense. His great background, of course, NFL linebacker. He doesn't take lightly to have his defense scored on, and they're making some improvement, though.
Yes, yeah, no doubt. Head coach Marvin Jones, not only is he the head coach, but he takes pride in his defense for sure, and it's something that he's been working really diligently on. Of course, this bye week upcoming is going to really help out a lot, but communication in the secondary is something that we hear him emphasize a lot in practice, and it's something that you got to hone in pretty quick in the Indoor Football League. As time goes on, you really find a way to get guys to rise to the top, right? And so a big interception this past weekend out of a guy like Katron Allen is really going to help his confidence too.
All right, give us a preview. We have a bye week coming up, then 2 more home games in a row. Tell us about those games, what promotions you might have.
Yeah, Green Bay is going to be up next. That's going to be May 3rd.
We owe them too.
Yes, yeah. Overtime loss to them on the road, and so I think the guys are itching for that next game for sure on May 3rd. Of course, that's a 7:05 game. May 10th is going to be against Iowa, another Eastern Conference opponent. So we've got a lot of home games upcoming here. The weather's going to be nice. It's always nice in the month of May in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But you want climate controlled at 72 degrees in the BOK Center. And obviously, after our first game, the fans show out. And it's, we've been talking to a lot of people around town. It was the best sporting event they've been to in their time living in Tulsa. And I think we all felt that too, for sure.
I don't think it's a faster game than Oilers football and Oilers hockey, both combined. But indoor football is really something.
Yeah, it really is. It's if you like the game of football, speed it up times 2 and add some crazy elements into it, such as footballs and players flying into the stands for that matter. So it's a fantastic way to not only enjoy some of the best talent, but potentially some NFL talent down the road. It's a great partnership with the UFL and the NFL, and it's something that those 2 leagues do look at, the Indoor Football League.
How much better is this team for 2025 than our first 2 seasons?
Much more disciplined, I'll tell you that, and they're going to get a chance to prove tangibly on the field, right? It's a season where we went 6-10 last year and made some improvements from the first year, but now it's about winning and finding a way to punch a ticket to the playoffs, and I think that's the standard now being met by some of the former players that have been here. They've risen to the top, and now they're trying to set the standard for new players coming in so that standard doesn't slip down, and I think we've got a team that has a chance this year to be really good, and especially coming out of the East. You take down Green Bay here in a couple of weeks, and I think you make a statement to the league for sure.
Tulsa Oilers Indoor Football. Voice of the Oilers, our man Luke Hamilton. Get out there and support the Oilers. Of course, again, bye week, then 2 weeks, home games coming up after that. We'll come right back. The very special basketball coach announcing his retirement right after this.
It's that time again, Tulsa. Your Tulsa Oilers indoor football team is back in action. Saturday night, May 3rd, 7:05 at the BOK Center. The Oilers turn up the heat on the Green Bay Blizzard. The first 1,000 fans 12 and under get a free youth jersey. It's time to experience the lightning-fast, hard-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilersFootball.com. TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
Winning racing action is back this spring at Remington Park. April racing features the annual extravaganza that is Extreme Race Day on Sunday, April 13th, featuring horse racing combined with zebra, ostrich, and camel competitions. The rich Remington Park Futurity Night of Racing is on Saturday, April 19th. The Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. The first race at 6 p.m. nightly, with Sunday racing at 4 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and non-stop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition. We're proud to welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene set a true Oklahoma high school basketball coaching legend, Rudy Garcia, the head coach at Union High School until now. He just announced his 30-year retirement. Coach, why now?
Well, I just felt like, 30 years was a long time. And, I've got some family, kids, grandkids, and I just felt like it was time to have a little more family time, just relax. And I'm going to still be around, but just not in everyday coaching mode and things. So, I had a good career, a lot of great coaches with me, players and things. And we've had a lot of success, but had a chance to win that championship and got beat. But I thought it was the right time just to step down and let somebody else take it.
Now, Coach Garcia has been with the Union system since, 1989?
Yep.
Came there, and there were no jobs. What did you end up with there?
Well, that first year I was at the Union, I was at Grove Elementary, and a bunch of my PE kids were needing an intramural coach. So they kept badgering me, and I said, finally I agreed. And so that was my first coaching job at Union, non-paid job. So, but it was fun, and it helped. Lisa Palmer was there, kind of helping Kurt Hartzler run the intramural program, and actually watched my team play and liked how I was coaching those kids and things. So she went back to Gil Cloud and said, "Hey, you got to hire this guy." And so the next year I got started 7th grade girls basketball.
Then an assistant basketball coach there, and onto the real big chair there finally. But I'm just amazed because baseball seems to be obviously your game. Great pitcher at the University of Arkansas, captain of the Razorback team. In baseball, you thought it was going to be your future, wasn't it?
Yeah, when I started at Union, I thought that the baseball job might be in line for me down the road. Larry Arrowwood was the head coach at the time. Didn't know which direction he was going. We were going into that. I remember the summer that I got the basketball job, but he hadn't indicated he was going to retire, and he called me and said, "Hey, I'm going to retire and recommend you for the head baseball job." And I actually had already pretty much had made my mind up I was going to take the basketball job, so I took the basketball job, and it's worked out for me. But like I said, baseball was in my blood and things, and I still follow those Hogs, and they're doing really well right now. So,
well, I'd say it worked out pretty well. Rudy Garcia, listen to this: his career record, 616 wins, 23 state tournament appearances, 3 6A state championships, 4 runner-ups. You had a chance to go ball again this year. Your team has surprised a lot of people, Rudy.
Yeah, we did. I think one thing we kind of always prided ourselves on with our program is we would get better as the year went along. I thought at the end our guards were playing really well, and we had Miles Flemings inside, and they had a bunch of role guys, but played well at the right time, and and made some things happen late. And I always told my guys, if we could just get there, anything can happen. And we got there and got it to the finals, and got off to a slow start. Deer Creek played really well early. We had to battle back, and got back within 6 late, and just couldn't quite get back on top again. But it was a great run for us.
Let's relive some of those state championship moments. Go back to the first one, Frisco Bowl 2004.
2004 was obviously a great year for us, winning that first championship. We'd been there a couple times, came up short, so you kind of didn't know if it was ever going to happen because it is hard to win them. But had again 3 kids. I call them my triplets. Mike Bontrager, John Tarbell, and the biggest one was Clint Stewart that ended up going on to K-State. But it was a great group of guys. Had a bunch of role guys, and so that's probably, since it was the first one, it's probably the one you cherish the most and things. But with a bunch of great kids, and again, didn't know if we could win it. We'd been in the state tournament with them, had a chance to win with them when they were sophomores in 2002, and came up short right there against Putnam City. But for us to win it, that first one was really great for us.
Then 2012, we came right back in 2014.
Yeah, we had a group of kids that played together quite a bit during the summer, and had some dads that coached them during the summer and things. So they stayed together instead of all going out, branching out and playing for other teams and things. And so I really felt like that helped us. Had a great blend of size and guard play. 2012 obviously was an undefeated season for us. J.C. Hartzler led that team, and and again had a really good point guard, Cedric Johnson, and then Philip Leonard was another guard for us. So it's really good on that team. So and to go 29-0, I think we were the first 6A school to win 29. You beat 29-0 and win one. So it was a great season for us. And then, like I said, 2014, those young guys watched those guys win it, and then they came through and got it done for us. So anytime you can win them, those are special memories.
Coach Rudy Garcia retiring as the Union basketball coach, and Union just now named a replacement. He's going to come over from Edmond North. Scott Norris, you've been with Scott before, right?
Yes, Scott and I are really good friends. Like I told you earlier, our sons are the same age, played together, so we coached those kids when they were younger. Coach Savage, his son, Colt, was in that group with him, and so the three of us kind of coached those guys. So real good friends with those guys, and so very familiar with Coach Norris, and I think he'll do a great job for us.
By the way, that 6A state championship game was Coach Garcia's 800th career game as a coach. Coach, congratulations. Great record, great numbers.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Come right back with our Remington Race Report right after we take this break.
Winning racing action is back this spring at Remington Park. April racing features the annual extravaganza that is Extreme Race Day on Sunday, April 13th, featuring horse racing combined with zebra, ostrich, and camel competitions. The Rich Remington Park Futurity Night of Racing is on Saturday, April 19th. The Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. The first race at 6 p.m. nightly, with Sunday racing at 4 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and non-stop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Remington Park has moved past the halfway point in this 2025 spring season, but we still have a lot going on. As we get into May, we'll have a lot of the news on the schedule in just a moment. A couple of weeks ago here, we told you about new jockey Iram Martinez, who had celebrated his 18th birthday by posting a riding triple. There's a lot more going on with this up-and-coming story. Richard Linehan has more.
For most of the Remington Park jockeys, high school is a distant memory in their rearview mirrors. For Aram Martinez, it's just the start of every day when he wakes up to go to El Reno High School.
Usually I get up around 5:30. I have horses at home, so I wake up, feed, drive up here from El Reno, which is about a 30-minute drive. Get here about 6:45 and go around and see what people have to take. I can usually only take about 2 or 3 in the morning before I have to go back to school. So I'll usually stop by and gallop to, usually most days, and then head out to school. Get out of school at 11:20, and some days I have to go in the afternoon for counseling and stuff like that. But most of the time I just go home and work on our horses that my dad has at home.
On March 22nd, Martinez turned 18 years old. On March 23rd, he won for the first time ever at Remington Park, and the second time. And the third. Why stop at one win when you can get 3 in one night?
My thought process was just get these horses a clean trip and just get out there and ride them to the best I could. And thank God they they got a clean trip, and they all ran their race, ran their hardest.
Martinez had ridden in fewer than 20 races lifetime when he won his 3 at Remington Park. His first victory ever came at Will Rogers Downs in Claremore, Oklahoma on October 20th last fall on a horse named Superstition. As is the tradition, the jockeys at WRD gave him the business when he returned from his first lifetime win.
I got my eyebrows shaved, I got my hair was all messed up, baby powder, ice cold water, all that.
And so you were prepared for that, weren't you?
Sure, I was.
What exactly did they do to your hair?
They just kind of went in with the scissors and just kind of like would pull patches of hair and just cut it, so.
Bet that was fun going back to school, huh?
Oh yeah, I had to cut it all the way and go bald for a little bit.
Martinez has a deep well from which he draws advice, as his dad is the now retired jockey El Sal Martinez, who won 773 races on quarter horses in his career, including this one last May aboard Awesome View at Remington Park for trainer Matt Whitekiller.
My dad, he's always helped me. He's always fixed like mistakes I do. He always shows them to me and stuff like that all the time. He's been the inspiration to me, especially seeing him as I grew up riding those good horses that he used to ride.
The trials have decided the field for the $120,000 American Paint Classic on May 2nd. The top qualifier and story of the night came in the 4th and final trial on April 17th. They're off in the final American Paint Classic trial. Turbulent, a horrible beginning. Pretty Little Poison came away sharply, so did Turnpike Jammer, trying to move at the rail. That is Shawnee Turnpike. Turbulent, despite the start, gaining quickly, moving up to 5th and now 4th. Only 100 yards to go. Pretty Little Poison, though, out in front by 2. Pretty Little Poison will benefit and score. Pretty Little Poison was a streak down the track, as the top qualifier was the only 2-year-old paint to handle 330 yards in less than 17 seconds. Owned, trained, and bred in Oklahoma by Matt Whitekiller, Francisco Calderon was up for the impressive run. But note the poor start by Turbulent, number 8. Winner of the Oklahoma Paint and Appaloosa Futurity in March, despite the beginning in the trial against Pretty Little Poison, the D. Keener trainee managed to post a big rally, gaining a 4th place run and getting to qualify in 7th position. The May 2nd American Paint Classic will be a good one. Here is your field of 10 for the American Paint Classic on May 2nd, Friday night. Pretty Little Poison, top qualifier, trained by Matt Whitekiller. He had 5 in the finals. KG All of the Marbles, Livewire's Apollo, PT got a filly, and Gigi's Gucci Glasses, his other 4. Turbulent did get in their 7th, trained by D. Keener. Keener has 3 in the final, Slingshot Engaged and Vexing Queen the others. Finally, Turnpike Jammer from Ray Enlow's barn in there is the 3rd qualifier. And then the final qualifier, WL Post Malone from the barn of Zachary Rios. A lot happening with race dates at Remington Park as we add Wednesday, April 23rd to make up for past cancellations. The first race is 6 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday, April 23rd through 26th. Sunday racing on April 27th starts at 4 p.m. Kentucky Derby Day is Saturday, May 3rd. A few table reservations remain. Contact group sales for more information. Saturday, May 3rd, Kentucky Derby Day. First race for Remington Park starts at noon. The Kentucky Derby just before 6 p.m. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Remember, Remington Park is also the place to go to bet the Kentucky Derby and all the Derby Day races on that Saturday. Looking ahead for next week, KJ Killer, the coach of Oklahoma's National Championship Women's Gymnastics team, joins us here. Also, we talk about TU football. Until then, as we always remind you, be a good sport.